Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Subscription Scaled. I'm your host, Nick Frederick. With me today is Kaylin Marcotte, who is the CEO and founder of JIGGY. Kaylin, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're glad you're here. I guess for listeners who may not know about the business or yourself, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to start JIGGY.
Yeah. So I started Jiggy. We're coming up on 4 years. I launched at the end of 2019. Before that, my first kind of entrance into the startup scene was at a media company. So I started my career in management consulting and then quickly was really craving kind of more ownership and impact in my work and met these two young co-founders who had just launched an daily email newsletter called The Skim. And
Okay.
the premise of The Skim was to give a daily skim of the news, mostly geared at millennial women to kind of reconnect them with current events. And so I joined them as their first employee and just kind of dove right in. I was there from the seed round to like a year after the Series B, 0 to 75 employees. So just like the really
Yeah.
cool, creative, like meaty years, which were a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. And so I was really just kind of burning out. And I was like, I don't know, yoga, meditation, it didn't really kind of stick. And I was looking for what kind of that unwind activity would be. And I picked up a jigsaw puzzle and it immediately clicked of just being, enough of an activity to keep me engaged and present and not looking at my phone, but also feel relaxed afterwards and away from screens. And so I started doing puzzles every night as my nightly unwind, and was also kind of seeing some of these trends of adult coloring books and Pinterest DIY crafting, and I started thinking maybe there was an appetite for something like this, to kind of reinvent and modernize classic puzzle and make it a bit more design driven and
Okay.
aesthetic and a bit more elevated. So that was kind of the beginning of the idea that planted and ultimately left the Skim, started working on Jiggy, and launched in 2019.
Wow. So, did you have any background or knowledge at all of what goes into making puzzles when you started down that path?
Absolutely not. I was avid puzzler only was my my
Okay.
experience. Yeah. No, and even, this kid had some very transferable experiences of just general startup life,
Yep.
but
Okay.
it was digital media. So no
Hmm.
physical, the
Right.
email side, physical product ops, all of that was brand
Hmm.
new. And
Okay.
not only was it brand new, but, you know, 2019, everybody knows what came 6 months later.
Hmm.
I had only ever done everything the first time, all our supply chain. I'd done one production run, just barely got our fulfillment center up and running. And then COVID hit. And so then it's a moving target. Everything changed anyway.
Yeah.
And so not only was it all new to me, but a very, very interesting time, let's say, to
Yeah.
be doing it
Everybody's
for the
scrambling
first
at
time.
that point, and you're
Right.
trying to just get a new business off the ground. I mean, were you doing your own production or had you outsourced that?
We had outsourced, the puzzle production of printing and laminating and die
Mhm.
cutting and all. So the actual puzzle production, I found a great partner. So but I was still receiving them to my apartment in Brooklyn and, calling in all the favors and fulfilling orders myself through that first holiday season. And then quickly realized I needed help on like the warehousing. So got a proper 3PL and had set up
Yeah.
that. So by the time we were really in kind of the COVID puzzle craze, um, I had pretty much the supply chain and then the fulfillment set up. But then it was, just a matter of keeping up with the demand. And of
Yeah.
course, remember the Suez Canal, and it was just one fire after the other of
Yeah.
issues. But But luckily it wasn't out of my living room anymore.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I, of course, talked to many businesses who were, online businesses when COVID happened and saw the spike. But most of them that I've talked to were established for at least a few years before that happened. So you're
Right.
going through the just getting the business launched, getting your feet underneath you, then that hits, which is probably fantastic from a demand perspective. An
Yeah.
online company that sells something to pass the time. I mean, I
Right.
can hardly think of a better business except for maybe cleaning supplies. But
Yeah.
what were some of those challenges in 2020? Were they more fulfillment related? Were they customer service? Was it just kind of everything? Everything was a fire, and you were trying to figure out how to make it happen.
Well, I feel like in the beginning, certainly, there were a lot of customer service issues because shipping timelines were delayed.
Mhm.
So many options were sold out and we couldn't restock them. So there were a lot of customer service issues, but there was, I think, so much just goodwill and understanding
Sure.
that we just had really like kind interactions with customers. I feel like it was holidays that year. So, 6 months in, I think a lot of the the goodwill was kinda like, "Have you figured it out by now?" And, Christmas is still past. Christmas is on the 25th, so if it's not
Hmm.
here, and, that was that every shipping carrier was just fully maxed out, and so we had some serious customer service issues that first holiday season of 2020, just
Hmm.
delivering on time. But most of the issues were really around our supply chain, one, costs going up, and just being able to get our hands on product.
Yeah.
Um, and our so we have domestic manufacturing and overseas was closed most of the time. Even domestic, they were like, we don't know who's going to show up any given day,
Yeah.
or who was calling out sick. So they really couldn't promise any timeline for product, completion. And so it was just, yeah, a moving target, so many of those. So sorry, here's the new estimated date, emails.
Yep.
And so we just kind of rolled with the punches. And actually there was one thing I ended up doing that really kind of became its own campaign. And we were sold out. We couldn't get product restock. But what I was able to get were blank white puzzles. So the pieces were cut. There was just nothing printed on them.
Okay.
Our full model with Jiggy is that each of our puzzle designs is original artwork by a visual
Hmm.
artist.
Okay.
And so I got these blank white puzzles and distributed them to the artists, and they hand drew and painted
Wow.
on them, creating,
Wow.
one of a kind artwork
Hmm.
on a puzzle.
Yep.
And so we hosted it like essentially an art auction and auctioned those off. The proceeds went to the artists themselves and COVID fundraising efforts. So it ended up kind of becoming its own cool initiative, and it was
Yeah.
just kind of to fill the gap where we had no product.
Yeah. So how neat, how innovative. Have you carried that forward? Are you still doing those?
We had done a few, especially with kind of more established or larger artists. There's one kind of iconic New York-based graffiti artist from the '80s who wanted to spray paint on one. So done it as kind of these cool one-off, obviously like real like one of one kind of collector um, items. And yeah, it was an interesting, kind of proof of concept of like, will people view, this as artwork? As the puzzle is like the
Yeah.
vehicle or medium, but
Mhm.
we're making the case that like there's art on a puzzle. And so it was cool to kind of take that to the real full extension.
Yeah. What a cool way to just interact with art, right? Instead of
Yeah,
just looking at it, up on a wall, but to get to kind of look at
right. Piece it
each
together.
piece of it very
Yeah.
individually. That's very cool. Well, so when you were launching this, number one, did you have a subscription component from the very beginning? And have you always been direct to consumer e-commerce, or were you ever looking to get distributors and kind of get into big box retail? What has kind of been your path, and where are you at now?
Yeah. launched fully direct to consumer, and it was really most just personally most kind of excited and passionate about building that and really having that relationship with the customer. And um, the brand not only just came from such a like organic place with me of just loving puzzles and wanting to create my dream puzzle and have that be, a product on the market. But also felt because each of the puzzles is by an artist and their full story. So I really
Hmm.
wanted bring that mission and those stories with us as we interacted with customers. So I felt that might be lost with a retailer in between. So
Hmm.
launch direct to consumer. I really focused on that for the first couple of years. We had a few just inbound interest, and so would fulfill orders as we can, but especially when we were dealing with inventory issues, like really reserved that for the direct to consumer business. There was no subscription business at
Okay.
launch. And so that the retail side and the subscription side came a bit later. The subscription side came again really organically, just looking at our customers' behavior and kind of what they were asking for. We've always,
Mm.
really active on social media, and they, DM us and respond and have that two-sided conversation. So always like, what do you want to see from us next? What's your puzzle ritual, or how do,
Hmm.
how does Jimmy fit into your life? And just on the analytics side, we were seeing such strong repeat rates. And so really where the subscription came from is one, the first version, the core product that I launched with, the concept is to really elevate the classic puzzle. And so packaging is very premium. The pieces come in a reusable glass jar with our logo frosted on, and it comes with puzzle glue and a straight edge tool to spread the glue. That's this, real like metal quality thickness, and the box sits upright and has gold foil and blind embossed. So it was really kind of design driven. And so number one, we were hearing from customers that if you're feeding your puzzle habit with Jiggy, doing, one every month, multiple a month, you don't probably need the puzzle glue. You're not going to glue and frame every single one of
Right.
them. The
Hmm.
packaging can feel a bit wasteful. Having, a couple glass jars are great. Use them as a flower vase or cookie jar or something, but you don't need 20 of them. And it's about elevated product, and the price point is higher. And so we were like, how can we really serve this interest in real repeat behavior without it being too expensive or too wasteful with the packaging. And so we started working on basically this like pared down version. The puzzle comes in a fabric bag, and it's a smaller box. You can request the glue and tool, and you get it. I think every twice a year for pick the ones that you love, but you don't get it every single time. So right, brought the price point down. So the idea with the subscription was really wanting to serve this habitual, behavior that we were already seeing, and really address the needs of the community as we were talking to them. So that launched about a year and a half in, and we, started with just monthly, just,
Okay.
recurring month over month. You sign up yourself, and then started layering on, Gista subscription or different lengths, different, durations that you can prepay, and started doing some programming and kind of more activation stuff around it. So that's been really, really special to see that develop. And they're really kind of our hyper users, are the people we go to, for beta test things or ask feedback and really have that relationship with. And then on the retail side, that also kind of came from just hearing, seeing what kind of requests we were getting, customers saying, this is, the perfect housewarming gift, but I'm going tonight. Like, where can I do?
Yeah.
Can I pick it up in New York City today?"
Mhm.
And so it really came as wanting, shelf space to be able uh to serve our D2C community who wanted to be able to pick it up same day. But then of course, the discovery and really depending on the retailer, if it's a great fit in demographics, like the increased discovery and brand visibility has been um can be very powerful too. So we started with kind of small local boutiques and
Okay.
then have done some large national retailers too. So by the time, this comes out this holiday season of 2023, we're going to be in Macy's, Barnes and Noble, and Anthropology.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the subscription because usually the path is we think this is something our customers will want, so therefore we put it out there and we see how it goes. You
Mhm.
use data to look at customer patterns and kind of decided that they were kind of subscribers anyway,
Already.
right?
Mhm.
They were coming back on some sort of regular cadence. So when you launched this program, how quickly did you see customers converting over from one-time purchases to a subscription? And then what do you see in terms of like brand new customers coming in who eventually get to subscription? Do they buy a one-off puzzle first to kind of like try it out before going there, or do they just dive right in?
Yeah, we definitely saw right out of the gate, certainly the existing repeat customers converting to subscription, which, we expected. We really built the subscription model around their needs and had
Hmm.
surveyed them. And so, the behavior of the existing customers just repeat purchasing, we were definitely serving that need with the first kind of iteration. So that converted quickly. Then what we wanted to address was gifting because we were starting to go into holiday season. It's, our
Yeah.
biggest season. We do a ton of gifting business. And so we wanted to make the subscription a gift option. And so, that required a bit different. You're usually not going to gift a subscription recurring monthly. You're going to give a duration, right? A 6 month, 3, 6, 12 month that you pay once. And so we did that. And then that, created the just new problem of okay, the person being gifted the subscription probably has never heard of Jiggy. So how do we make sure we're communicating, the brand and this isn't just a puzzle, this artist made it, and here you can watch her studio tour of, where she creates her artwork and the
Mm.
meaning behind this piece that now you're going to puzzle this month.
Yeah.
So really bringing them into the fold of the brand, and kind of the community behind it rather than just you got gifted this product that's going to show
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
um, and so really working on a lot of kind of the programming and content around it. And so doing, bringing those artist stories to life, even connecting, a couple times we had like a Zoom puzzle party and all the members came on and could be puzzling together and
Mm.
connecting. And so things like that. And then I'd say the last kind of version, which we're actually working on right now, is to give even more kind of control to members. So, we ask for feedback and survey regularly. And so before we had it was we selected the design. So it was you get a 500-piece puzzle every month. It was and some loved that kind of surprise and delight. You never know what you're
Mm.
gonna get. You're gonna discover a new piece of art. And some really would request to see it beforehand. And,
Mhm.
do you have anything in this style? Or actually, I'm out of town this month. Love to use this month as a gift and send it to somebody
Mm.
else.
Yep.
And so we wanted to create more of that. So kind of a new version that we're offering is a bit more of like credit model. So, I use Audible for audiobooks. So
Yeah. Okay.
get a credit a month. You
Hmm.
get to come onto our site and shop yourself. So pick your design, choose if you want to receive it yourself or send it as a gift. Um, you can choose to roll over your credits.
Okay.
So more of choose your own adventure
Yeah.
of the membership.
Yeah, that can oftentimes, though, create complexity, right? From a process, people, certainly technology perspective. How did you kind of balance out giving customers more flexibility with something that you can actually manage and remain profitable in the process?
Yeah. The hardest part has just been the back end. Essentially for us now, it's um, like a, uh, like a coupon code, like you get your credit per month, and then
Okay.
you kind of just check out like a normal shopper. Um,
Hmm.
so it's processed through our system, kind of like a one-off purchase,
Okay.
but it had already been processed through the membership on the first of the month.
Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, but that I mean, think depending on, your SKU catalog and how many options and we run on Shopify and there are a bunch of plugins for Shopify that help kind of piece together how we could offer that.
Yeah. Did you convert all the subscriptions to that kind of credit model, or are some people kind of still on a legacy? You just get what we send you each period.
Yeah. And they got to opt in. A lot just like they don't want to, they love the surprise. So
A surprise. Yeah.
we'll pick, there's still like a default puzzle every month that we pick.
Okay.
That's what you'll receive if you don't opt in.
Gotcha. Talk a little bit about how you've grown from, obviously that first year, 2020, I'm sure it was just crazy and dealing with the demand and how to get your business up and running. But in terms of like your supply chain, marketing,
Mhm.
fulfillment and technology, like what changes have you made along the way to kind of take advantages of scale and continue to grow your business while again trying to remain profitable?
Yeah. We are, I think, our fourth fulfillment partner now.
Okay.
And second domestic manufacturer. Um, and really what we needed was on the D2C side, like reliability and speed of shipment. And, you know, most of our products has a glass jar with a piece. So just, we have certain specifications around
Yeah.
how they're shipped and the box sizes that are used and all of so just more control. And so it has been a struggle to find the right partner that can both scale and has as customized an approach as we need. um, but I mean, knock on wood, I I hope fourth time's a charm and we're there now. And on the manufacturing and supply chain side, we our partner overseas is great, great quality, great work rate, but very, just like fixed in their workflows and product and timeline. Like we have to be at least a quarter out on placing those purchase orders. If we're not three
Okay.
months, it's not going to be here. Leaving time for freight, ocean, so we don't have to pay air, and like it's just there's not a ton of flexibility, and so we just had to really keep ourselves honest on staying out with enough time, and being, on top of that. But then domestically, we were kind of looking for the opposite of, quick turnaround, total flexibility. And so we ended up finding this great partner, which someone out there's a business idea on or a need for finding
Hmm.
the manufacturer because it has been so old school and very relationship driven, word of mouth. I just kind of naively thought there must be like a directory,
A marketplace or
a
something? Yeah.
marketplace of
Yeah.
factories. I need this, you make this, let's do it. And
Uh-huh.
it's been so much harder than I anticipated to find those partners and to really it is a partnership. It's not just transactional. You make this thing for me. Like it really has been a
Mhm.
partnership. And they've invested different machinery that we needed. They've actually invested in, setting up um equipment and, processes that they might not have had before that we need. But essentially where what we were looking for domestically and what we ended up finding in this partner is like print on demand. So we want to be able to run, we want to be able to run one of one, like unique designs. And actually, next week it's going live. But we're offering like personalized puzzles. So you can
Mm,
come on,
okay. Very
your
cool.
life
Hmm.
moment, wedding photo, whatever it is. And we can with there are other kind of print on demand sites that offer it, but quality hasn't been, what I would want if I were gifting it to someone or having this as a real kind of memento. And so with the Jiggy quality and everything that our customers expect from a Jiggy product, we're now offering this personalized custom offering. And so that is what we've been working on domestically. That how do we scale when potentially each unit in a run is different, and how does that work at scale? And so that was really dependent on the right partner and the right software to upload your image and have it formatted exactly how the puzzle will print. And so that's, yeah, finally going live for this holiday season. Just
Nice. Nice.
we
Congrats. You,
thanks, thanks.
you talked a lot of there about, changing vendors and finding partners. When you're out there evaluating a partner, whether it's a service, it's a tech or whatever to supply you, what are some of the main things that you're looking for? Is it speed, responsiveness, cost, or is it just a combination of those things that kind of depend on what that particular product is?
Yeah, a bit of everything. We have just by necessity, I self-funded the company and we've been bootstrapped ever since. And so, you know, just the reality is we run on cash flow and have to be very cognizant of cost. Uh,
Hmm.
and then, I think speed, like turnaround time, just responsiveness, communication, really just like culture fit. Like I started this company for out of love of puzzles and passion, and like I want to love doing it every day. So that means
Yeah.
good people, and so
Yep.
I
Yep.
want to only work with good people. And I think just really clear alignment on expectations and an understanding of okay, I there are realities, timelines change all the time, but how are you going to deal with that when it happens? And there are always going to be issues, a puzzle, they're missing pieces, whatever comes up.
Mhm.
How are you gonna, are we telling every little thing, or are we just, doing right by each of our businesses and the customers? And so, typically, you know, like to work with people as much as we can first. There's been a couple cases where we've had to just pull the trigger and dive right in, but generally, having some, it's not like contract to hire kind of for a vendor, but having some like, here's one scope of a project,
Yeah. Yeah.
just do
Try it
this,
out. Yeah.
try it out, have a very defined scope and see how it goes. Because and maybe I'm just not my strongest skill set of interviewing and really digging in, but I'm like, there's so much I just feel like I can never know until we're in it and actually
100%.
on this, and I see how
Yeah.
you worked in real time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really been
So true. I love that approach. It's one I take myself of you can show me the best sales deck in the world. We can have a website, you can have a good sales guy, but the rubber really meets the road when we try this out. And if there's a way to trial something ahead of making a really long-term commitment, you're going to learn a lot in that process. I
totally.
agree.
I'm your I specifically thought, I'm like, please spend zero time on changing font, a nice looking deck. Like can you do this run for me and let's see how it goes?
Yeah.
uh, because I get nothing out of, yeah, your presentation. And so often we're just keep it, quick and scrappy, and what's, the quick and dirty way to get this done well. And so let's just try that together.
Yeah, for sure. Let's turn to the kind of the upfront acquisition and marketing side. In the
Yeah.
early days, when you launched, where you're relying heavily on word of mouth, how did
Mhm.
you grow that? How do you incentivize existing customers, and what channels are working for you today?
Yeah, we did. It was very kind of organic driven for the first couple of years. I mean, especially with the demand boost of COVID, and then, kind of built into the product are some very shareable moments. And we see a lot of kind of user generated content and social media kind of chatter about the brand, the opening the box and seeing the puzzle pieces in a glass jar. It's really that kind of unboxing. And then, of course, as people are doing it, they're showing their progress. And then you do the last piece and you're so proud of yourself. So you show that. And then we include the puzzle glue. So, it's very novel. You're gluing a puzzle and then it's framed. And so we see a lot of which really kind of organic, like stickiness with with sharing the experience of the product. And so that really carried the brand through, through growth for the first year. And then I was like, all right, time to start, turning on some channels and getting our footing with the performance and paid side of things. And so we started doing Facebook, Instagram, Google, and we've had varying degrees of traction there. I think that world has changed a lot. I had one
Yeah.
friend who started a company a few years before me, and he was like, "Oh, you missed the D2C just glory days of like pump some Facebook ads and there you
Yeah.
go on your
Hmm.
e-commerce business." And I'm like, "Yeah, I missed that. I think it's forced a lot more creativity, and I would say also like more intentional marketing.
Yeah.
That it's not just that easy, that sure win anymore." And so we've really been really just kind of thoughtful about organic content, building our email list. So we've done some kind of the quick wins of, partnerships, giveaways to grow our list. But for the most part, really focus on just engaging content over email and social, um, and then continue to do performing on Meta and Google. And then really PR has been a big one. So PR from the beginning, both around like very just commerce based, pitching commerce editors for all the lists and roundups and best puzzles, best gifts under $50, all of that. And then the more kind of feature based, the story of the brand, what it's like being a solo female founder, what it was like leading the brand through COVID. And so both kind of the narrative brand PR, and then just the kind of
Yeah.
commerce affiliate based. So that has actually driven a lot of our growth as well.
Yeah. Where do you have any sense of like where this is going? I mean, where you guys are going to focus maybe in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, what we're most definitely continuing our, product development and serving our customers, especially keeping that real kind of close ear to the ground on what they're asking for. The couple products that we've launched since also came from just this feedback and relationship we have with our community. So our Jiggy Junior, which is our kid size,
Mm,
is
nice.
great,
Okay.
love puzzles, want to start them young and get the whole family involved. We
Yeah.
have Jiggy Junior line, and then our frames. So, we include the puzzle glue
Okay.
and really position this as something you can keep when it's complete. So we start getting a lot of questions. Great, I glued it. What's the best frame? How do I do it? what would pair with this well? So we sell our own frame pairings and now as bundles, choose your puzzle, choose your frame, get it as a bundle. um, Developing, continuing to iterate on the subscription, as I mentioned, this new kind
Hmm.
of more control credit model, but continuing to iterate there. And then really our big focus right now is this personalized market, not only for individual customers to be able, all the use cases of I love the just the nature of a puzzle where you're putting it together and there's this reveal, right? So we've
Hmm.
made a few samples of things of like a save the date or will you go to prom with me or something where you put the puzzle together to
Cool.
unlock the message.
Yeah.
And so really working on some really fun, creative um, ideas. And then of course, just seeing everyone's moments and how fun it can be to kind of commemorate it on a puzzle for all of these life milestones with our personalized puzzles and collaboration. So we're doing the same
Okay.
thing for partners, like big organizations. We actually did one this year with the Girl Scouts. So they wanted to. We had a female artist who was a Girl Scout herself create an original piece of artwork that kind of represents the values and different scenes, kind of
Uh,
vignettes, scenes of being a Girl Scout. And alongside cookie season, they launched that as a product available to their community. So I think it's really fun for me to kind of bring puzzles where you might not expect to see them, or just keep innovating in new ways, both for partners and directly for our customers.
yeah. Gosh, a lot of exciting things in the
A lot.
in the roadmap there. Yeah,
Truly,
that's very cool. Yeah,
never a dull moment.
you are going to be busy for a little while at least, for sure. Very
You guys,
exciting.
always.
Yeah. Well, Kaylin, this has been a really fun conversation. I really enjoyed listening to your story and the growth. For anybody that was listening that wants to learn more about Jiggy or maybe has a question about something we talked about today and wants to reach out, where are the best places for them to go?
Yeah, we are Jiggy Puzzles everywhere on social, jiggypuzzles.com, and can always reach out to me directly, Kaylin Marcotte, and I'm Kaylin at jiggypuzzles.com.
Easy enough. Well, Kaylin, again, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And best of luck to you guys.
Thank you, Nick.